Hey everybody, welcome to New Zealand's Biggest Gap here, an epic challenge that my partner Laura and I decided to tackle a couple of years ago. The challenge? 365 activities all around New Zealand in 365 days. And today we're going to be sailing the Fox 2 in the Akaroa harbour. Foxy. This morning we are waking up in the beautiful Banks Peninsula. It is an absolutely stunning area, and the main jewel of the area is the township of Akaroa that Laura and I are absolutely in love with. But today our activity takes us on the water on the Fox 2.
What happened to Fox 1? That's what I want to know.
The tour starts on Daly's Wharf, which is the oldest surviving wharf in the township of Akaroa. We learn them from Roy, which is our skipper and super knowledgeable tour guide. We're not even out on the water just yet that Roy is already giving us super insightful information about everything that is surrounding us. It's absolutely incredible how much he knows about the area.
As the oldest town in the Canterbury region, there is a lot to unpack during this tour. We're passing historic sites like the Akaroa Lighthouse, which is weirdly situated in the middle of town rather than in the edge of the harbour. Roy also tells us about the French history of the town as well, because the French were the first to arrive in Akaroa, so it's kept that heritage. But apart from the history, there's also a lot of wildlife in the Akaroa harbour, which we're seeing today.
What wildlife do you expect to see today?
Well, if it's anything like the other ones, I'd say we'll see some Hector's dolphins.
Yep.
We'll be seeing some shags. I can see one now.
Oh yeah.
We will also be seeing some terns, some little blue penguins, and maybe some albatross if they're still around.
Oh yeah.
Once the sails are up and we are gliding peacefully along the Akaroa harbour, Roy is putting on some music. We just think this is for some sort of ambience to our trip, but apparently it is his little trick to attract wildlife.
As soon as I see the dolphin coming close to the boat, I am grabbing the rope ladder and make my way on top of the mast. This is going to be the best spot to view all the dolphins surrounding the boat. The boat is entirely surrounded by a heap of Hector dolphins. It's crazy how many there is. I've never seen a pod of more than 10 individuals, and right now I can count 19 from the top of my mast. The Hector dolphins are endemic to New Zealand, and they are actually the world's smallest dolphin. So in my book they are the world's cutest dolphin, because what's small is cute, right? They are actually a very endangered species with only less than 7,000 individuals in the wild. The Hector dolphin are facing multiple threats which are taking it to the brink of extinction, sadly, but they are found only around the south island of New Zealand, so it's much easier to protect them as they are concentrated into such a small area. On the North Island there is a subspecies of the Hector dolphin called the Maori dolphin, and they are even rarer with only 55 individuals left in the wild. Those Hector dolphins are super playful around the boat, and this is because the bow of this massive sailing boat is extremely different than most of the motor boats which are running around the Banks Peninsula. So it makes it for a much more interesting boat to them, and so they are much more attracted to it. It's really fun to see them weave in and out the bow. And it's also really cool to see them so close to us. We are literally within about a meter from them, and from that distance we can actually notice how small they are. The Hector dolphins are actually very small dolphins. They only reach 1.4 meter at a maximum.
Also from this distance we can see the features that make the Hector dolphins a bit different from other species of dolphins in New Zealand. For instance, they have a round dorsal fin as well as black markings on their fins, tails and faces. After at least 30 minutes of the dolphins hanging around, they sadly decide to swim away, leaving us to do the rest of our sailing tour around the Akaroa harbour. We're getting much closer to the coastal cliffs of the harbour, which have been formed by various volcanic eruptions over the years, and you can tell this with each layer we can see into the coastal cliff. These cliffs are also home to various other wildlife, as we see seal pups and shag colonies as well. Another thing we can't help but notice is just how blue the water is around here, and that's because all the sediment taken from glaciers in the Southern Alps has been washed into the ocean around the area of Akaroa. And while slowly sailing on these beautiful turquoise waters, we spot some more tiny wildlife, which are the little blue penguins. These are the smallest species of penguins in the world.
The little blue penguins are quite abundant in the Banks Peninsula and especially around the Akaroa town. We spent 2 days learning more about them with the team from Pohatu Penguins, and it's quite impressive that our skipper Roy succeeded to spot those really small penguins across the massive stretch of water. But although the wildlife is tiny between the tiny dolphins and the tiny penguins, the landscapes are grandiose. There are gigantic caves surrounding the whole Akaroa harbour, and we're arriving in Cathedral Cave. The reverberation of the music played by Roy make it all sound like a real cathedral. It's really awesome. On our way back toward the Akaroa harbour, we are served a little bit of tea and a bit of a snack just to help us warm up, because despite the fact that it's a beautiful day on the Banks Peninsula, it has been a little bit chilly because there is a lot of wind. So this refreshment is very much welcome at the end of our tour. Camera. Action! 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 Action!
You spent far too long indoors today.
Alright, so I hope that you did enjoy this video. It's definitely a mellow sail around the Akaroa harbour. We got to see a lot of places, obviously, and we already have visited the Akaroa harbour quite a few times in a few of other videos, but at least now you have seen all the different ways in which you can enjoy the Akaroa harbour, which is quite cool. So some of the comments that we had before we released on the first time we released the video, one of them was from Ruth, and she says, I remember going out to see the Akaroa lighthouse when it was actually out on the coast, and that was in 1973. I had my honeymoon in Akaroa. Well, you definitely have seen more than we did for sure. That is pretty cool. Tethys39 says, great video. We are thinking about sailing in Akaroa. Seems like you guys sailed twice in Akaroa. Which one did you prefer, and were they really very different between one and the other? So there was definitely a few differences between one and the other. And the Black Cat cruise that we did was pretty cool because we got to swim with the dolphins. So I think that was definitely very different. And yeah, obviously the sailing cruise are a little bit more mellow and kind of a more subtle approach. So if you want something a bit more romantic, that's definitely more like what you want to go for. And if you want to hit pretty much all the points and go really, really, really quick, and you want a bit of an adrenaline boost as well, maybe the jet boat is a good option as well. So you have kind of, they're quite strikingly different for sure. So that should help you like choose which one should be best for you, obviously. Those are the kind of questions that we answer really often during the NZ Travel Show, which is a live session that we do every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time. And everybody can join in and ask us questions about traveling in New Zealand, and we help you plan the best trip possible in New Zealand. So maybe it's worth subscribing to our channel so you get notified when that happens. Also, if you want to reward all our hard work, you may want to hit like, and that's really nice. You can also join us on Patreon if you have a bit of spare cash. Caro had another comment and says, whoa, landscape looks amazing. Very nice video. Thank you very much, Caro. I really appreciate the lovely comments right here. Very much appreciated indeed. All right, if you guys are currently planning a trip to New Zealand, you may want to head out to nzpocketguide.com, New Zealand's largest travel guide. And in the meantime, I see you in our next video, not yours, our next video, but you can watch it. Here you go. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.